Yo guys, how's it going? It's Rager Gaming here, and still not been in the shower. Well, I mean I did yesterday and stuff. But anyway, we are back with the top 5 Gobblegums. No we're not. We're here with the worst. Yeah. Great intro. So, yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the top 5. I mean, I guess you kinda say it's top 5. It's pretty much the bottom 5 Gobblegums. You don't really want to see these when you spend your 3 liquid diviniums and get any of these 7 that we're going to talk about. You know, there is obviously 2 honourable mentions. But other than that, we're just going to get straight in. So first of all, at number 5 we're going to go with Burned Out. Now, Burned Out, when you think about it, it's not really that bad. Because when you take melee damage, especially on higher rounds, it's just an instant flame of death. It's like a death ball flame that just wipes all the zombies out that are near. But you don't get to choose when you want to use it after you've been hit. So as soon as you've been hit after taking this Gobblegum, boom, there's one of your 2. And then you get hit again, boom, there's your other 2, and before you know it, your Gobblegum is gone. It's not the worst because it still does kind of give you that breathing space for about 5 seconds. But again, it's not one that you kind of get excited of when it comes up in the chamber. It's just one of them that you're like, well, I guess I'll take it. It's not the best, it's not the worst, I guess, which is why it's coming in at number 5. Now, number 4 is Respin Cycle. Now, Respin Cycle, in theory, isn't a bad Gobblegum. It respins the magic box 2 times. You could use they 2 times on the same spin, so for 950 you're essentially getting 3 shots at getting the weapon you want. Problem with this being, and it doesn't really affect me so much, but there's the only thing wrong with it really is the fact that for people that you're playing with, say you have no friends, or in my case no friends that really come on zombies that much, and you have to go into a game of Shadows of Evil or the Giant, and you're like, right, we're going to have to go in with some randoms, you know, random people, randoms, and they just think, oh well, I get a Respin Cycle, and I realise they get Respin Cycle because you get that purple flame that comes over the box, respins the weapon, whatever. But it's like, I don't know, it's like a musical show. Everybody has to be watching it at the one time, and I am the only one that literally looks at it for 1 second and then goes away, and I'm like, right, I couldn't give a shit. I want my weapons, and once I get my weapons, I will be fine. Everybody else looks at it, everybody goes down because they get taken away, and I don't really have enough bullets at round 5 to do with my pistol and kill about 10 zombies. So it's just bad for beginners, I guess. It doesn't really affect me that much, but for beginners, it pretty much just gets you down because you're too concentrated on the box and you lose sight of, oh wait, but zombies are still spawning in, it's only halfway through the round. So really, it's not a bad one, but at the same time, it's number 4 anyway. So number 3 is Pop Shocks. Now, Pop Shocks, it might come as a bit of a shock. Never again, but it comes as a shock just because of the fact that there's 5 activations, which, you know, is the most activated one in the game, and by that I mean everything else, you look at it, 1 activation, 2, 2, that kind of thing. So there's 5 activations on this, and every time you melee a zombie, or at least every time for day 5, electrocutes all nearby zombies as if you have the Wonder Waffle on your knife. Now, again, in theory, that is not a bad Gobblegum because, you know, the Wonder Waffle isn't the worst. It is still shit on this compared to World at War, but you still have the electrical thing, so you might be wondering why this is coming in at number 3. Again, this is more of a personal list, as was the last one, and I don't really get excited or overexcited when I see Pop Shocks. It's one of them when you think, oh, it's an orange one, it must be good. Oh, it's Burned Out. Or, oh, it's Pop Shocks. It's never unquenchable, it's never wall power, it's never perkaholic. So, when you get this, you kind of think to yourself, right, so I'm going to use it for a couple of rounds. If I get it, maybe say, the first 10 rounds or something up until round 10, then that's fine. That's fine, because it does good. It does good. When you get to round, say, 30, I'm just always using that as an example because I pretty much hit 30 all the time. Not bragging or anything, it's not really a big thing to brag about, but when you get to round 30, it's really more of a pain in the arse. It's probably the best way to put it. Shadows of Evil, it's fine. the giant, when you're on the catwalk and you're doing your thing and you've got all your perks and stuff, and you knife one zombie with your Bowie knife, you know, because that's pretty much the best thing about that catwalk when you get into pretty much deep situations and stuff, is the Bowie knife. But when you knife them, one, obviously you're drawn in closer to them, and two, the electricalness of the knife and this just kind of shows them getting electrocuted, but the ones behind them necessarily won't. So they're going to still run at you, and you're going to be overwhelmed, like, oh shit, I thought they were dead, oh, and then you kind of go down. Thankfully, if you have quick revive, then you're sorted. But that's just the way it goes, really, sometimes. It's a pain in the arse. Is pretty much why it's coming out at number 3, is just the fact that on high rounds it has pretty much little to no effect. So yeah, it's not the best. But number 2 is Imperial Enhancement, or Emperor Enhancement, or I didn't even care. That's the first thing about this. Why is it Emperor? Like, it's not even got an M before it, so it's Ephemeral. Or Ephemeral. Exactly, Ephemeral. The fuck? I mean, you get a lot of 11-year-olds on this game that are be like, I don't even care how to spell that if it wasn't on the screen, regardless to actually saying it. But anyway, that's just a nice wee rant to get into. So, this turns your gun that is in your hands into a pack-a-punch weapon. Now, what's wrong with that? Well, you see, it's pretty much the... I'm trying to think how to say it without absolutely butchering this gobblegum. It's just like the little version of wall power, because obviously wall power, you buy it off the walls and then it just becomes pack-a-punched. That literally just says there, it's better than Emperor Enhancement by about, like, I don't know, 10 folds maybe? And this one only lasts for 60 seconds each, so you use it twice and look, oh well, I've got 2 minutes to use a pack-a-punch gun. And the only problem that I've found with this, and it really annoys me, is when I see that coming out of the gobblegum chamber, because I call it a chamber, it doesn't look that bad, and then I realise what it actually does, and I'm like, well, could that not have just been wall power and saved me, you know, the whatever time of, you know, it coming back to me? Or if you've already pack-a-punched 2 or 3 guns, depending if you have a mule kick or not, when you have your 2 or 3 guns, you're kind of sitting there like, well, what use is this to me? I'm going to have to spend, like, I don't know, 4,500 to get another gobblegum whilst this is active. It's a waste of points, it's a waste of time, it's not even anywhere close to what wall power is, so it's coming in at number 2. It's just pretty much a waste, it really is. But if you couldn't have guessed it, there is one gobblegum that is the biggest pain in the arse, it is the waste of time, that is Licensed Contractor. I am pretty sure if you have not had this and thought, wow, this is the biggest load of shit I have ever seen, I don't know. It spawns a carpenter. Now, I mean, there's 3 of them, but that's not even enough to kind of say, well, I mean, it's not too bad. The only good thing that comes from this contractor is it gives you about 5 seconds, but again, if you're getting to round 30 pretty much every time, and you get a licensed contractor, as you can see I've got 2, I've pretty much wasted like 3 just to get them over done with, that's how bad they are, then you're just going to be sitting there for 5 seconds until they just overrun you again. It's just going to delay the inevitable, and it's just like, you know, I mean, like, what's the point? You get them in your gobblegum chambers, and you're like, right, the 3rd chamber's always the best, and they throw in a licensed contractor. Or better yet, yesterday when I was playing zombies, I wish I could save the clips, but I had Phoenix up in the first one, which was amazing. You cannot not like Phoenix up, you know, it was in the top 5 best gobblegums. And then it gives me a reward doubler and a licensed contractor in the 3rd, so I got literally 2 licensed contractors. I was in the 3rd valve, which is meant to be better for rares, and you get that pile of shite, and you're like, what the fuck is this? I am not wanting this. It gives you, I think it's something like 100 or 200 points every time you rebuild 5 barriers with this. As long as there's 5 barriers to rebuild, you're getting your 200 or something, I think that's the way it goes. It's just such a waste. I can't even go any further. It literally just, you look at it and it explains itself. Carpenter is probably the fucking worst drop that you can get. But that has been the top 5. Obviously, as I said, we've got 2 honourable mentions. So the first goes to Aftertaste. Now, Aftertaste on its own, this is why it never made the list, because on its own it is amazing, because you get revived for your teammates. If they don't have Phoenix up, then that's perfect. The reason why it's still on the dishonourable mention list is the fact that, as I just said, Phoenix up pretty much does the better version of that. It gets people up, you don't have to rush towards them. As I said in the previous video, it gets them up regardless of where you are on the map. So you could be across the entire other side of the map and use Phoenix up. That, you know, I'm not even going to try and impersonate the Phoenix. You get that Pakara, and, you know, they're up. It's fine. After taste, you actually have to make the effort to run towards the teleporter or run downstairs where the Pack-a-Punch is on Shadows of Evil and stuff like that, because no, I have not downloaded DLCs. I am waiting for the DLC 3 to drop because that looks amazing. Anyway, that's why Aftertaste didn't make the top 5 worst, but it's still kind of bad in the way that Phoenix Up just kind of outdoes it. You know, and whenever you see a blue, you know that it's Phoenix, you know it's Aftertaste, you know, so Phoenix Up is just 10 times better. The second goes to Dead of Nuclear Winter. Now, the only reason this didn't make the list is the fact that nobody really complains about a nuke. But just like Carpenter, it kind of delays the inevitable. Maybe for a bit longer because they're sitting there burning, where you pretty much just sit and look at them burn while reloading your weapons and or buying a gun off the wall, stuff like that. But there's 2 activations, it gives you 400 points each. If you have double points, 800, and then you'll get 1600 when you use it the second time round. But again, nobody really moans about getting a nuke ever. I think if a nuke was to drop on round 34, for instance, just 34 in general, random number, nobody's going to say, oh well, I didn't want that because there's about 110 zombies coming at me at the one time, and that's only the start of the round. So, Dead of Nuclear Winter isn't that bad. I was so tempted in this video to put I'm feeling lucky, mainly it's just random power up. It's not really what you want. You've got that for a nuke, you've got that for a carpenter, that for a fire sale. The only other thing you can really get with I'm feeling lucky that would be of any use really, is the death machine, because there isn't a death machine Gobblegum unless it's in the DLC, but you know, who got time for that? So anyway, that has been the top 5. As I said, licensed contractor takes it. If you couldn't already guess, that's just the worst. It is honestly the worst. But if you have liked this video, give it a like, comment down below what the next top 5 should be for Black Ops 3 Zombies, and other than that, subscribe if you're new, notifications, get them turned on, and I will see you in the next video.